Story Detectives, and this is video 3 of the Giant Slew Roll. So I'm just going to go through the worksheets and show you the kind of questions that you've got for this week's activities. So the word of the week was pleased, and as we've just looked, the meaning was to feeling or showing pleasure or satisfaction. So write something like that there, and then choose a synonym. You could choose one of the words that we've looked at: thankful, satisfied, thrilled, glad or delighted, or you could choose a synonym of your own if you can think of another one. That's fine. And then an antonym. So let's have a look. We've got displeased, dissatisfied, disgruntled, unhappy, or you could choose one of your own for the antonym. So write those there, and then please give me an example of the word pleased in a sentence. So see what you can come up with for an interesting sentence there with the word pleased in. Now, as you must have noticed, the Giant Slew Roll was written in rhyme. So let's have a look at rhyme. Rhyme is when a word sounds the same at the sort of end of the word. So when you're looking at a word written down, you can't tell if it rhymes. You have to say it out loud. So I put in some unusual tricks here to see if you can actually tell. So you can't tell. You have to say them out loud, not just by the spelling. So I shall give you an example of what I mean. We have the word bum here, and then we have tum, some, bin, and num. Now if you look at bum, it's definitely spelt like tum, isn't it? So I think that's definitely going to rhyme, those two rhyme. But the word bum and the word some, they don't look very similar because they've got a different spelling thing going on. This one's got a U-M and that's got an O-M-E. But when you say bum and when you say some, they do rhyme. So I will circle that one as well. Now the word bin looks a bit like the word bum. 3 letters, starts with a B, but bin and bum do not rhyme, so I won't circle that one. And now we've got the word num. Now this is a funny word because it's got a B on the end of it, so you might think it's pronounced number, but it's actually just pronounced num. And it does in fact rhyme with bum, so I would also circle that one. So just be aware when you're doing these, so go along, and the word in bold is the one that you're trying to rhyme with. So look at the word in bold, then go along the line, and don't just look at the spelling because that will not help you. You have to say those words out loud to see which ones rhyme. Okay. And then one of the things you may have noticed in the story is that we had a lot of ing words, ing words in the story. For example, let's have a look at the book and I'll show you what I mean. Towards the beginning, we had it rolling. So we had the words rolling, flying, waving, saving, and lying. We've got a lot of words with ing on the end. Now, when you have a word with ing, it means that if it's a verb, that it's something that's happening right away. So you might say, Miss Paula is talking, because it's something that I'm doing right now and I'm carrying on doing it. It's a continuous sense of the word talk. So if you say Miss Paula can talk, yes, I can talk, but right now I am talking. It's something that I'm doing right now. So when you've got the ing on the end of a word, this is what it doesn't just say the paper can roll or can fly. It's flying, it's waving, it's happening right now. And it's lying on the floor. So this is in the story, this is happening right now. So how do we make words into ing? Well, most of the time we can do like the word flying, and we got the word fly, and then we just add ing to make flying. But unfortunately in the English language, not all words are that straightforward and simple. So what I'd like you to do is watch this video, and I will put the link to the video onto the Google Classroom for you so you can just click straight onto it. And it will explain a little bit about how we make some of these words into ing words, because some of them do have rules that you must follow. The majority of words like draw, walk, think, talk, pretty simple, you just add an ing to the end. But if you have a word that ends in an E, then you have to take the E away before you add the ing. So this is rule number 1. So a word like dance, you have an E there, you take that E away before you make it dancing. Same with ride, you take the E away, so there's the E, take that one away and add the ing. Hide is the same, you have to take the E away, ing, and write, that's another example. where you need to take away the E and add the ing. And then there's another rule. Rule number 2 is if you have a short vowel sound and a consonant, just one consonant, you need to sometimes add an extra consonant. So if you've got the word let, you have to put an extra T on to make it letting. And there's some other examples here. Cut, you have to add 2 T's for cutting. Sit, you'll have to add another T to make it sitting. Run, another N, and swim, another M. Now, it's not that straightforward which one of these words is which. Sometimes it's difficult to know whether it's a short vowel sound or not. It's just one of those things that you will get used to as you start writing. Just being aware that sometimes you do need to double up the consonant there before you add on the ing. And then finally, rule 3, there are some words, when you've written them in the original state, like the word lie, for example, end in an IE. There's not many of these, so this is not a really big deal, but there is one in the story, so that's why I've had to cover it here. So the word lie, when you want to make that into a continuous sense and say, I'm lying down, you have to take away the IE altogether and replace it with a Y, and that becomes lying. So if you see in the story, we've actually got some examples. So flying, that was a straightforward one. Wave, waving. Now look, that's one of those that has got a funny rule. I should just write it here. So the word wave is spelt like that. But when you're taking it into adding the ing, you have to take away that E and you make it into waving. You take away the E before you add the ing. And the same with save. That's another example. The word save is spelled S-A-V-E, but then you have to cross out that E before you can add the ing. And then on here we have the word lying, like I was just talking about. So that is the word, the original word is spelled L-I-E, lie, but we have to cross out the I and the E to make lying and just use a Y. Okay. So that is that final rule. And I've got a couple of words here that fit the rule. We've got tie, tying, boogie, boogieing, die, dying, and underlie, underlying. But there's not too many of those in the English language, so it's not a huge worry. But I just thought I'd explain it because we did use the word lying. So now I have a great big list of words. Some of these are easy. Some of these you have to think, oh, do I have to double up the consonant? Have we got a special rule that we need to follow? Do I need to take away the E? So see if you can turn these into the continuous tense by adding the ing. But if you watch that little video on YouTube to begin with, I'm sure this will be pretty easy when you come to do it. So I know it's kind of a bit hard to explain it while you're not in the room. Over the video, it's a bit hard to explain it, but I'm sure that video will really help. Then I've got a page here from the book, which adds this very page here, in fact, the one that I'm looking at now. And I want you to go through and circle any words that you can find that end in ing. And then for an extra bonus point, see if you can tell me what rule they followed. So for example, the word rolling and flying, they don't really need to follow any of the rules because they are just add an ing. But waving, that had to follow a rule. That was the drop the E before the ing rule. So if you can circle the word and maybe just make a little note if it followed one of the unusual rules. Now, our next task is to get you thinking. So, the first question is, why did the toilet paper roll down the hill? Do things always roll down hills? Does anything ever roll up a hill? What force do we call it that makes something roll down? And why did the toilet roll eventually come to a stop? Have a think about that. You might want to talk to your parents about that, or talk to a sibling or your auntie and see if you can find out what the name of the force is that makes something go downhill. Now this next question, I think some of you who were in Miss Karen's group will know this already because I think you have done a little bit of a topic on this one already. The question says, the supply of toilet roll in Hong Kong ran out recently. Can you explain why? Yes, it did, didn't it? Our shelves were bare of toilet roll a few weeks ago. So I wonder if you can explain why that happened. It's a bit of a deep question. Again, you might need to ask your parents to explain what happened. Where did all our toilet roll go? And see if you can have a chat about that. But I think, as I say, Miss Karen has explained that, I think, if you're in the plus or advanced groups, you should know all about that already. And now I've added a maths question. I know some of you are doing super well with your maths, Miss Yana. So there was a page in this book and I thought, I can make this into a maths question. Where did that page go? And I'll show you what I mean. So the factory boss made toilet paper for all these toilets. Now he's lined them up like this, all the toilets. And that made me think of my times tables. So without just counting them, 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 etc. Tell me how many toilets are there by using your times tables. So there's the picture on there for you. See if you can work that out. And then, just for fun, as you might remember, in the story, some of the children made a paper aeroplane out of the paper that they found and knocked their teachers over with it. I wonder if you could make some paper aeroplanes. You could try them with different sizes, different types of paper, and see what effect you can find. Do they fly better if you make them out of big paper? Do they fly better if you make them out of a small piece of paper? Does tissue paper work better than card? See if you can have a play around. And if you don't want to do that, you know what you could do is make some paper chains. They were mentioned in the story here. Now we have actually done this as an activity before. I've done it with some of my students in Hands Up. It's really good fun actually, very simple but very effective. You just cut out strips of paper, roll them together and seal them, and then the next piece of paper loops through and you can make a chain, and that's a really fun thing to do. And so have a go at either doing some paper darts or see if you can make some paper chains. And then we have a research project. Now I wonder if you can guess what I'm going to choose. It is about recycling, because during the story we have a few times where it says the word saving. All this paper is so worth saving. And that got me thinking about recycling, because it's very important not to waste our paper, because paper is made normally from trees. And if we just waste our paper, then the tree's getting knocked down and it's just going, we're just going to waste. But one of the things that we can do, which is a really great thing when it comes to paper, is we can recycle it. And it means we can make paper out of paper. So I would like you to find out a little bit about recycling for me. I've put some video links here, which again I will put on the Google Classroom, but you can research anything you like. If you just go onto Google or YouTube, I'm sure you'll find some lovely videos that just explains what it is you have to do to recycle paper. It's not a very complicated process actually. So when you found out a little bit, I would just like you to explain it in a point form. Just tell me a couple of the points that you need to do to recycle paper, or perhaps you could draw me a picture of paper being recycled. And then we are onto our fun activities, which I would like you to do, particularly if you're in the purple or the blue group. We have our word search with some words from the story here. And we have one of my favourites, spot the differences. As I say, these are super good to get you thinking. They're great for your visual discrimination, and they also help you to start thinking in terms of comparing and contrasting. So have a look at these two pictures of two bathrooms and see what you can find that's different from one to the other. And then this is just a fun activity to join the dots. This is good for your pencil control to get you started with a little bit of drawing. Follow the dots to make that picture. And another one to get your pencil control skills improving is to follow this maze. See if you can get from the guy at the toilet to the toilet roll. So it makes you think, and it's also good for your pencil control. And I've just got you a nice friendly giant to colour in. And finally, some handwriting practice. Again, these are words that we have learnt today from the story. I would like you to trace over the words here and then write them a couple of times by yourself. See if you can, these lined paper is really good because it gives you a clue as to where to start your letters. So this little dotted line in the middle will help you line it up. I think some of you have been taught that we have letters like a letter G, which hangs below the line. I think we call those monkey letters because they've got like a tail. And then some of them are giraffe letters that go over this spotted line because they're tall. So then you can go up to this line. So this little dotted line in the middle really will help you with your handwriting. So as I say, go over that word itself and then write it a couple more times for me. See if you can do this. This is for anybody to do, but obviously if you're in the blue or purple group, I'd like you to give it a try. So there is your work for this week, and in the next video I will go through the answers that I would have expected from you. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.